Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 4 of our podcast, Online OffStream Podcast. I'm Razzie, and I'm here with.
Estella, hi everyone. Happy episode
Hello.
4.
Let's
Let's go.
go. Episode 4. I'm so proud of us. We're
Yes,
committed. We're doing it.
we're
We
doing it.
are treating this project with extreme care.
Yes.
And yeah, it's Wednesday. We're back with another episode to help you all get through the week.
Yes. No, it definitely I mean I've been loving seeing everybody's responses of like this is helping me. This is a motivator for me to keep going through the week. It's so nice to see and it's definitely been that for me as well. Like
Oh my God. I
making it
love
and making time.
I love seeing people being like, "Oh, I listened to the podcast and like this part of the podcast was so funny," or like, "Oh my God, when you mentioned this in the podcast, I can relate to that." I'm like, oh, "Stop it." It fills my
It
heart
kind of
with so
gets me
much joy.
emotional, I'm not gonna lie.
Right? Same.
Like the fact that it's being so well received and that you guys are enjoying it, which is of course like a primary reason for us to do it is for you the listeners, enjoyment, but hearing all of that and knowing how much joy it's giving me, how much joy it's giving us like to create is so it's so nice that they're working hand in hand to just create a lot of good, which is always very rewarding.
Yeah.
And for my Twitch stream viewers, you guys know I'm an emotional little bean. I get emotional. I'm very like sentimental. And to hear you guys talking about it, I'm like, oh my god, catch me crying. Like it's so nice.
And I'm very like, yes, please talk about it more. Like boost my ego. Tell us how good we are. Tell us how much you enjoy it. This is
You're just
making me
there
feel
like
great.
receiving it, and I'm just there like crying. That's basically the dynamic.
It's yeah, I'm taking it, absorbing it and like boosting my ego, and then you're just taking it, absorbing it and letting it out with tears.
Exactly, exactly. Which I mean, I think both very valid,
Yes.
valid ways to experience it.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. But yeah, it's another Wednesday. We are back. Today's episode, we've decided pretty much we're just gonna talk about like our week because
Yeah.
we both have had very busy weeks. We've been
Yes.
having very busy weeks. We've just been like doing a lot, picking up a lot of like side projects, just dealing with life, work
Yeah.
obviously, and then having to prepare for like our trip next month. So we've been doing a
Isn't it
lot.
crazy that it's next month already?
Literally
I
in
can.
6 days, it's gonna be a month away. Crazy.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
Freaking me
In
out. Okay.
a month and 6 days from now, we're gonna be with each other in person, which is gonna be wild.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
And also
That's
for you
wild.
listeners, like we have content already like in the works pretty much. Like
Yes.
we have our ideas of stuff we want to film together. So you will be seeing a face reveal from me, which I haven't done in a really long time. And there will
Yeah.
be content of all of us together posted on like our social medias. So that'll be fun to record.
Mhm.
And I'm sure you all will enjoy watching that and seeing that all on our
The
socials.
content spreadsheet is getting full, and I'm so excited. I was making it the other day after a couple messages went back and forth in the group chat, and I was adding them all in and things that I had made note of like in conversations, um, like just things that we were excited to do, things that we were wanting to film, and kind of seeing it all laid out with like my little like descriptions and like organizing it. I was like, okay, I think we can actually do this because even though it's a long list, it's like it actually is a very realistic amount of content for the time that we are
Oh,
together.
yeah, absolutely. Like I looked at it
Yeah.
a couple days ago. I'm looking at it again now. And like I am not going to tell any of you unless you subscribe to our Patreon. I'm kidding, we don't have a Patreon.
We don't have a Patreon yet.
What yet? uh I'm not telling any of you what the video ideas are but like they're so good. They are so freaking good, and I'm so
I'm so
excited.
excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, I was thinking about this week because for those of you who don't know, this week is also my birthday week. Slay.
Ooh, yeah.
So I've been feeling very reflective, as we come up on my birthday. I always feel like the week before is always just like something crazy happens that makes me have to like think about life. I don't know why. It's just been that way for a very long time for me. And I was thinking about it because I was working on some stuff for TwitchCon. I was working on stuff for my birthday celebration stream, which is on Friday, and just kind of like reflecting about content creation as a whole. And I was really like, I was feeling very happy that it brought so much excitement because I feel like I went through a pretty like big point about a year ago now, actually, right before TwitchCon, where I was like, I don't know, like I'm going to TwitchCon, but like I don't know if this is the world that I'm going to stay in. And to
Hmm.
be kind of on the complete other side of that, like a year later, of like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I'm excited about this. I'm excited to be doing this. I'm looking forward, obviously, to be like creating things and being in that creator world. I don't know. I was feeling very nostalgic and very refreshed in
Your
that.
transition from where you were last year to where you are now is insane. It's incredible. It's really freaking good. You've worked
Thank you.
so hard to get to where you are right now. And like you should be proud of yourself for being where you are right now and doing the things that you're doing. Cause like
Thank
just
you.
last week, I think is when you announced that you're gonna be on a panel at TwitchCon, which is massive.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's super exciting.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, like I remember last year you weren't even streaming, you were on a break.
Yeah.
And then you like got back into it after TwitchCon and here you are like being successful. Play
It's
Successful by Ariana Grande. Like
yeah, literally. No, it feels very very strange to be in that position, kind of like the aftermath of, and almost a full year later. Um, and I don't know, it feels very good to be where we're at now, and
mhm,
like as I again like as I as people know, I'm an emotional person. I'm a very sentimental person, and to have it be like the week that things, it feels like New Year for me, even though it's like not really, obviously everybody celebrates New Year in January. It feels very
you
much
could
like, oh, this is
celebrate
the
New
start of a
Year
new
at
year.
your own time.
Thank you for the permission because I need it. Like I need to be like, I need that sometimes because like I feel like around my birthday is like, okay, new year, new me, that's when it actually kicks in.
Mhm.
Um and this year is definitely feeling like, okay, this is a start of a new chapter. This is um a better trajectory. So, as far as the weekly recap for this past week, I've been doing a lot of work to start that new chapter or that new
Yeah.
page.
I fully
Um,
agree. New Year, New Me is like when your birthday happens, not
yeah.
New Year's. Because like let's be real, New Year resolutions is so like
Bull.
a capitalist thing.
hundred percent.
Like I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm gonna eat healthy and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Like New Year, New Me should be for your birthday. You're a year older. Like
Yeah.
it's literally a new you and a new year
Yeah.
for you. So yeah, definitely not for New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. It's your birthday. That's when it's
I think
new
so.
me, new year.
Well, then it's also about like what you actually want to be a part of your life and how you want to actually implement it,
Yeah,
rather than it being kind of the external societal pressure of what you're supposed to do in the new year.
yeah.
Um, I don't know. I think also for me, just because where my birthday falls, it was always like right before like a new school year started. Like it was
Oh,
just
that's
like
true.
I never
Yeah.
had my birthday like during the school year, and so I was also going into whatever grade it was afterwards, where it was like, no, it's time for like back to school shopping, but I'm a whole year older, so now I get to have like a whole new style or whatever it was. So I think just kind of growing up with that and then into my adulthood, very much like, okay, you're a year older. What do you want to bring into the new year
Hmm.
of growing up and learning what's next? I definitely have been feeling that a lot
I can kind of relate to
around this
that
time.
because mine falls at the end of the school year.
Yeah.
So it's like school's just finished. And it's weird because like it's kind of the perfect time to like celebrate because you're just out of school, it's summer vacation,
Yeah.
everybody wants to hang out. But because school just ended and it's summer vacation, everybody's on vacation. So it's like you don't get
Yeah.
to like celebrate or do anything. But then it's like I've never really self-reflected or like done the whole new year new me thing for my birthday
Mm-hmm.
until like months later.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm like in a party mindset, and then months later I'm like, you know what, this is what I want in my life, this is how things are going
Yeah.
to be and stuff like that.
Which is still a very like valid experience as well.
Yeah.
Like I feel like naturally just kind of my the way that I move through the world is very like uh overly sentimental, I think. And so when I'm like, oh, like a specific date, oh, this is like the date that I did this or the date that I did that. Probably just more of my neurodivergence peeking out. But uh, like that kind of um like date setting also has helped with like intention setting where it's like by this time I would like something like this to have happened.
Hmm.
And I've been doing that since I was like a really little kid as well. So I think I just started it so young of like, okay, it's a new semester, it's a new school year, it's a new whatever time to approach it differently than I did last time. Um, but yeah, that's basically where my head has been all week. Like very much focused on what this new year can bring.
Yeah.
Because so much has already happened just in the last year. I mean, it's almost a year since we were in person together,
Yeah.
which is literally
Wild.
insane,
Yeah.
wild. Um, and a lot has happened. And going into the next year, it's like, okay, what's next? Both in the good and the bad.
Right, yeah, it's like what does life have to throw at me? I'm a little scared of
Yeah, for
what
sure.
might be happening
Yeah.
for both the good and the bad, because good things can still be scary. They
Oh,
both can absolutely
definitely.
be scary.
Definitely. Yeah, I definitely think some of the good things can be sometimes even more scary because especially when you care about something.
Hmm.
Um, I think that also is part of it for me with some of the good things that are happening. The
Well, because it's also like
terror.
good things can kind of, in a way, feel like things might get out of control.
Yeah.
Like something too good might happen for something that you really care about, and it's like, oh shit, like this might be too much, or things might get out of control. But as long as you stay like calm and you have a plan and stuff, then you'll be
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me right now, just because we're going into TwitchCon season,
TwitchCon
if you will,
season.
which
We
is so
can't
fun
stop
and
talking about it.
exciting.
We're so
We
excited.
can't. We're so it's there's so much like excitement and honest like just joy that comes out of TwitchCon as a whole that it's like it's very exciting. And obviously this year for me it's a little bit more stressful. I was actually talking to our lovely friend Jen Frosty about this. Just like even down to like small things like what outfit am I gonna wear? I
Hmm.
feel like I'm definitely a lot more anxious this year where it's like, oh my God, but like it's TwitchCon year two,
Yeah, no,
and I
because
have to
last year
decide an
was the
outfit.
warm up. Last year was like, okay, this is a feel of what the convention's like. What kind
Yeah,
of people are going to be there, what kind of panels are going to be happening. And now that last year we did that and experienced it, this year we're going in being like, okay, we know what we know what we want to do, we know how we want to dress
we
up,
know what
like
we don't want to
we
do.
know what we don't want to do. Yeah, like lick
Yeah,
doorknobs, don't do that.
don't do
I'm still
that.
going to do
Don't
it
do it.
anyways, but like don't do that. I'm not actually going to do that. That is
Exactly.
legally a joke.
Oh, yeah. Disclaimer. Disclaimer. Haha.
I'm going to lick people instead. No, I'm not going to lick people.
Oh my gosh. He's escalating. He's escalating.
I actually like
No.
I can't I can't recall something that I didn't want to do based off like of our experience at
Hmm.
TwitchCon last year.
The only thing that I wouldn't want to do again was that really uncomfortable panel in the main stage.
Mm. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it was just the two of us that went.
It was just the two of us, yes. And
Yeah,
and then we were telling everybody about how awkward and
it was
uncomfortable that
so
situation was.
uncomfortable.
Um
It was really
without
uncomfortable.
giving context because we don't want to be attacked.
True, very true. Yeah, no names.
We went to a panel and it was just like a group of people talking, but
They were
it
so
just
mean
felt
to each
like they
other.
were fighting with each other without actually like
Yeah,
fighting. Like they were like, "Oh, ha ha ha, we're friends. We totally like each other, totally." And then, but they were like so ruthless with each other. We're like, "What is
they
happening
would not
here?"
stop like it felt
Belittling each
very
other and
mean. Yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
belittling and just not like what actual friends should do. Even friends who like tease each other, which is like totally fine. Certain friendships have that dynamic.
Hmm.
Like
Oh yeah,
fine,
like
but this was beyond teasing. This was like mean.
yeah, and, like me and one of my friends, Yumi. Shout out to Yumi
Shout out to Yimmy.
Coco. We like jokingly tease and stuff with each other back and forth. Like sometimes we'll banter with each other,
Yeah.
but never to that extent. Like that was
No.
crazy. That was really bad.
Yeah.
So many people like got up and left.
Yeah.
There was
And it
definitely
was like one
something
of the
else we could have
big
done.
rooms too.
Yeah, that was supposed to be the quote unquote like closing ceremony of TwitchCon too,
Yeah.
which was like a big
Awkward.
yeah.
Awkward. Hated it.
Because
So I don't
we
want to do
went
that
to
again.
it thinking that it was going to be like a big like closing, like a big thing with
Yeah.
like I don't know. I was expecting fireworks. I'm not gonna lie.
I was expecting some kind of like maybe confetti at
Yeah,
least.
something, right?
Something.
But it was just people talking, and that was it. Oh, and
Not even talking, being mean.
the interviewer
Horrible.
didn't even care to be there. Dude
Yeah.
was on his phone, just not even like
Just
paying
the
attention to the
secondhand
conversation.
embarrassment.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it
Yeah.
was unfortunate because it was like we were excited about it and it just made me very uncomfortable. And when I see somebody like visibly uncomfortable, it makes me very uncomfortable. And that whole situation, like nobody looked like they were having a good time. Um, so I'm hopeful that that doesn't happen again this year. And if there's some like if there's something like that, hopefully like a closing ceremony, it's just a different vibe.
Yeah.
Um, that was really like the only thing that I'm like, oof, I don't think I want to do that
Yeah,
that kind of
no.
thing again.
We definitely would not do something like that. So, yeah, with that being said, I can remember something from TwitchCon last year that I didn't enjoy. And it would be that. Um,
Exactly.
but like we didn't know what it was. We thought it was actually going to be like a closing ceremony thing
Yeah.
to wrap up TwitchCon, but it very much was not that.
Yeah.
But yeah, aside from that, like we know what we want to do, what we wouldn't want to do, which is exciting, which is really good. I'm full on
Yeah.
going into this just like party mode. I just want to party, get freebies, interact
I
with
mean,
people. The
that's a big
freebies were
draw.
nice.
They were really nice. Like do I bring an extra suitcase? Like like we're driving.
Right, yeah, exactly. Do you like just bring it all in this extra suitcase
Extra
and just like
suitcase.
carry it with you? I
I
have
don't
learned my
know.
lesson from last year though. I got this massive ass Genshin poster.
Mine's still
That
in the suitcase.
was a pain in the ass to travel with because it
Oh
couldn't
my
fit in my
god.
carry-on and then it couldn't fit in my personal bag. So it was like sticking out and it was just like very awkward to travel with the whole time. So I'm like, if
Yeah.
I get another big poster like that, I cannot bring it home with me.
Well, there are options. Like we can maybe try to mail it back to you or something in like a mail tube,
True.
whatever.
Yes.
Like if it's a poster that you really like
Yeah.
and it's worth like spending, $5 to mail to you, like
Then yeah, why not? Yeah, we can
then
always do
let's do
something
that.
like that. Yeah. There are options. I never think of those options though. I'm always like I either suffer
Well,
or I don't do it.
I feel like it's different though. Like this year we'll be going back to like my house. So like I'm a little bit more used to like being in LA with those options.
Yeah.
Whereas last year we were in Vegas. None of us knew what the hell we were doing.
No.
We were just there along for the ride. So I
Yeah.
think this year I feel a little bit more prepared because I know the vibe of like the pre TwitchCon adventures and most of the post TwitchCon adventures. I
Yes.
have like I have the experience of being there that I'm not like I don't know, we'll figure it out.
I
like
can I say though, like one of the pre TwitchCon things that we're going to do is we're gonna go get our nails done, and I am so
I'm
excited
so
about it.
excited.
I've wanted to go do that for so long, but I've never had the opportunity to, and I'm so excited. Like
It's gonna be so much
it just
fun.
like fills something inside of me, and I'm so excited to do it.
I'm so glad we're doing it. Like when it kind of came up in conversation, I was like, "Oh, that's a really like a really cute, fun idea." But the more we started talking about it, I was like, "No, this makes so much sense. This is such a perfect way to kick off the trip. This is this is the way to do it."
Yeah.
And I love that all of us have like been sending back and forth like ideas and kind of what we might want to do as far as like designs and stuff. Like it feels right.
Yeah.
um and it feels like the perfect way to like start off an already going to be amazing trip, but like that's our opening ceremony, if you will.
That's yeah. That is our opening ceremony to just everything. Yes. Oh my god.
Yes.
Also, for those of you listening, don't hate me for what I'm about to suggest, but Estella, I think we should keep the designs private until we get them done and share them.
Yes. No, I think
Nobody
that's a
can
good idea.
know except for us.
I think that's a good idea. Well, it was funny because I was going back and forth on a couple different designs, and one of the ones that I almost went for, shout out to Chani again, we were talking about nails and the particular style of aura nails.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And so I had sent one of the inspo pictures that I was kind of leaning towards, but since I found the most recent one that I actually am gonna go towards, now it's like that's on lockdown. Like, love you, Chani, love you for your beauty inspo, but you're gonna have to wait for that one. like,
Sorry, Chani. Sorry.
sorry. Um, but yeah, no, I'm excited to have that be like a little surprise and like a TikTok already like planned out for that, which is super cool.
Oh my god, I just thought of an incredible idea. Oh my god, of what we
Put it
could
in the
do for it.
spreadsheet.
Oh my god. Wait, okay. I'm gonna DM it to you. You're gonna get our live reactions though, okay?
Okay.
Um,
Yes,
that would be so
yes,
good. Oh my
that
god.
would be everything. You guys are not going to be ready. The
Oh my
content that is being
god.
planned for TwitchCon, like because it's all of us who love creating content as
Mm,
individuals, but then all of us being together, like it matches all of our skills very well.
yeah.
You
Oh my
know,
god. Like
like
we're gonna
between
be going to
planning and
a
editing.
convention that we really want to
Yeah,
go to, and then we vibe off each other's energies. So it's gonna be
exactly.
perfect.
It's
It's
going
gonna
to
be
be
really
great.
good.
And all of our like individual content creation skills as themselves, whether it's editing, organizing, obviously promoting, you know, things like that that we all kind of use for our own content. It's also going to be super fun to kind of apply it for like the group stuff that we're planning on doing, which is so exciting and so
Yes.
fun because we all see things from a slightly different point of view. So to be able to apply all of that for like fun TikToks, I think is going to be great.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be great.
There's there's so much content on this list that I'm just like I'm so excited about all of this. It's gonna be so much fun to record, and I just know I'm gonna be laughing so
Yeah,
much because of like our reactions to the videos and stuff.
I'm really looking forward to just like wholehearted, like happy laughter. I
Hmm.
think we all really need that.
We do.
And it's
We
going to
really
be
do.
something so fun to do because we have it naturally just like in conversation, but it's different being in the room with somebody when there's like a good, fun, happy moment. Um, yeah, I'm very excited. It's gonna be a
Yeah.
good time. It's gonna be so cute.
It's gonna be very cute. We're like nothing beats being face to face in person with somebody. And it's like, I'm thankful for the internet. I'm thankful
Yeah.
for the devices that we have to be able to chat with people long distance and stuff. But nothing will ever beat being physically there with somebody face to face and feeling all of the emotions that you would feel with them in a call or like in a video call
Yeah.
or whatever, right? Nothing will beat that emotion. So being
No.
there in person and just like having those good laughs, being silly and goofy and doing the
Yes.
things that we usually do, spilling tea if we want to spill
All
tea,
the
because we spill always tea all
tea.
the time.
Always piping hot.
Piping hot. Well, it's
Yeah,
like, it's
no,
the
it's gonna be
best.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking like I think it was like last week. We were talking about it in not a podcast call, just one of our like catch-up calls. And just how much like the idea of like seeing you and like actually being able to like give you a hug.
Yeah.
Like I'm so excited to just like give you the hug and because it's a year long of like waving at the
Hey.
camera and like holding the camera, being like, "Oh, cute hug," you know, of like many
Here's an
ups and
air hug.
downs, literally air hug. So I'm excited to also just like see you, be there, and actually like just being in person, both in the like energetic presence, but
Yeah.
also the physical presence. Like
And
it
like the
does make
thing
a
is
difference.
too, like without like I know the main reason why we made this podcast is to talk about things on this podcast that we wouldn't talk about on stream and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Some things we would like to keep to ourselves.
Yes.
Sorry, not sorry, but some things are just too personal that we don't want to
Of
share.
course.
And it's just like, like I've been going through a tough time recently. Estella's been going through a tough time. Jen has been going through a tough time. The three of us are going to go to the convention together and see each other in person. So it's not just like hey, like we're friends and we're super excited to see each other and give each other this hugs. It's more like I know what you're going through. When we see
Yeah.
Jen, we know what she's going through. And it's like
Yeah.
you need this hug and we are going to
Yes.
give you this hug and you need it.
Definitely. It definitely feels like I don't know, the because it's been a year and in that year we've had so many things, some stuff that we have talked about online, some things that I think for both of us, like it's really important that we do keep private. Obviously this is a look into our off-stream lives and our off-stream kind of personalities and lives to a certain degree, right? We're still human beings with families and lives that we do have to protect and our offline selves we do need to protect as well. So I definitely I like agree, like sorry not sorry, we'll share what we feel comfortable with and what we
Hmm.
don't. Like you get as much as we can give is the kind of the my viewpoint on it. But in that year for all of us to have gone through so many things big or small that we've all had to kind of lean on the technology to be able to facilitate as much as possible of the support from our closest friends.
Yeah.
It's also like, okay, the three of us are going to be in person and we've survived the year, like with the technology, which has been a huge benefit.
Yeah.
But to then actually be in person and kind of, I don't want to say relive because I don't think that's the right word, but kind of bring bring together like, oh my gosh, we made it this
It's
year
like
and
bring
we're now
back and make
talking
it
about it.
better. A
Exactly. Heal.
continuation of what we had.
Yes, exactly. Heal.
It's a moment of healing.
It is. I think so.
Yeah. Like I mean like one thing I will talk about is many of you know that I was unemployed for a good like 5 months earlier this year.
Yeah.
And I had to unfortunately make the decision of going back to the workplace that I had quit. It's not the best situation. It's
Yeah.
not the worst,
Right.
but it is a very like bad toxic environment.
Toxic
So it's
environment.
just like, being able to see you guys in person and hang out and just like chat and physically be there with each other is going to be super healing and much needed for sure.
Yeah.
And like with that being said too, with like the listeners, we really appreciate you guys too.
Yeah.
It would be nice to be able to see everybody physically in person, but
Yes.
unfortunately we can't do that due to obvious
No.
reasons, but it would be great. But the three of us plan to see each other literally next month, and that's going to be like a much needed healing time for us.
Yeah. No, I think being able to be in person and kind of talk through some of the things that even though we've shared, obviously just in our own one-on-one time, offline, even though it's online, I think it's still something really, really special that we get to do.
Hmm.
And I think it came up in my stream last week. Just the idea of like TwitchCon and that having it be like that meeting place that next year a lot of people are really wanting to try to come. Um, and I
Yeah,
think that would be
yeah.
super fun, super cool to have people really trying to come and be in person with us because it especially with Twitch and kind of the relationships that you do make one on one with people. Um, I feel like that would be so, so cool to have
TwitchCon
like
is literally the perfect opportunity for people to be able to meet each other in person. Whether you're a
definitely.
streamer or a viewer, it is the
Yes.
perfect place and perfect opportunity because it's open to everybody. It's not just for streamers.
No,
Like if you're listening to this podcast and you're like, oh, like TwitchCon sounds cool. I wish I could go. You can.
you can. You can. I love that about it's a flashback, actually, context to what I was gonna say. 2014, I went to VidCon. And I went because I was running this like small little Twitter page. I'm not gonna say what it was because I think it's probably still up and it's kind of
Oh,
embarrassing. Uh,
I just so want
but
to
I
know what
was
this is now.
I'll I'll tell you later. That will
Okay.
stay offline. um, but I was running this small Twitter page and I was going and like I went on the community track that they have. Um, and I felt like at that point things have changed a lot for VidCon, I'm sure, like based off of everything that I've seen. I haven't been
Yeah, like
since then.
2014 is a long time.
Exactly. So I went on the community track and I felt like there was so much that I could not do. Like they really tried to separate like the community and the content creators and the press people. Like they kept it separate. And I found that very frustrating as somebody who was on the community track because I was a fan of a lot of these people, but I was also kind of starting off where like some of the beginnings of my content creation interest was. I found it frustrating. I couldn't do a lot of the like panels or talkbacks or things where like I would be there to learn. They didn't really give that opportunity to community members.
Mm.
At TwitchCon, I feel like they give the opportunity to almost anybody to be
Yeah.
able to experience almost everything.
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
Um, which I think is super cool. Obviously, there are certain things like in the creator camps where you have to be a partner, an affiliate, things like that, which I think absolutely like make sense,
Hmm.
you know. Um, but most things are available to anybody, even if you're there for a single day. Like a single day ticket gets you into the exact same places.
Yeah.
So if
I
you're thinking
think
about coming to
like
TwitchCon,
affiliate
do it.
and viewer, because like how it works at TwitchCon is they break it down to four categories, I think. Five if you count staff.
Right.
So there's staff, viewer, affiliate, partner, and then there was
Exhibitor.
exhibitor. Yeah, so if you're like selling stuff there. Uh and so I feel like with the affiliate and the viewer, it's like Estella said, pretty much the same. There's like maybe like a couple things here and there that only affiliates can get into, but for the most part, affiliates and viewers are pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Partners definitely have like much more perks and stuff
Yes. Yeah.
than anybody else, but like for the most part, everybody's like pretty similar. So
Yeah.
if you go as a viewer to TwitchCon looking to see like your favorite streamers and stuff like that, you have every opportunity to do it. It's gonna happen.
Yes, 100%. I mean, just walking the floor, like you end up seeing so many people that you recognize. It's a wild thing.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think from what it sounds like from a lot of people, like next year, a lot of people are trying to save up to go, and I think it would be so much fun to like organize like a little like community meetup that's not like some kind of crazy like thing, but like, they have a lot of meeting up spaces for smaller communities, and I think that'd be so cool, especially because so much of our like audience does overlap.
Hmm.
Um, which again is like one of the coolest things ever to see how like within friend groups and within small spaces on Twitch, how many names you end up recognizing in
Yeah.
everybody's streams,
I love
and it
it
really
so
becomes
much.
a community.
Yeah.
So I think that would be really cool to try to organize something for next year where people could like make a point to come and see us,
I
and
agree. Yeah.
I think
This
it'd be so much
year is
fun.
going to be like a good opportunity for me to figure out how we could make that work as well
Mhm.
as possible, because I do have a couple people that have reached out to me. Like I said, I think in like the last episode, I've had a couple people that like found out that I was going to TwitchCon that I kind of like have talked with a couple times. And so I'm gonna try to like meet up with them. It's probably just gonna like randomly happen at the convention during the convention.
Right.
So it's like, I haven't had the opportunity last year to meet up with people that I knew were going to the convention because I
Hmm.
didn't really like know them, know them.
Right.
Like Estella and I ran into somebody, and it was like I knew who the person was because I had seen their Twitter posts and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So I knew who the person was, said hi to them. But this year, like, I'm gonna reach out to people more and figure out how best to meet up with people, and that way for next year, when we have so many more people that are gonna want to meet us, we're gonna figure out like and know how
The actual
to
logistics.
effectively meet up with everybody.
Exactly. No, I think it's gonna be great. And I mean, the same way we went into last year with a lot of like open-minded, like we're just here for the experience. I think we're definitely bringing that into this year as well. But
Yeah,
I also think both of us have a little bit more of a mission, I guess, of like, okay, this is what we want to do. This is what we want to see. This is a priority. This not so much, but it would be fun. We have a little bit of like a plan in place, I would
yeah.
say, because we know what we liked and what we enjoyed, and obviously walking around getting freebies never hurt anybody.
Gotta love those freebies.
I love a freebie.
Freebies are the best.
Well, it's fun. It's funny because I feel like, a huge part of TwitchCon culture is like pin trading, which I
Yeah.
never expected at all.
Oh my god.
Um, I'm a full-blown Disney adult and I know that. So like I was so excited about the Disney pin trading when I go to Disney. So to see that translating into TwitchCon, my brain like exploded on itself,
I
I have to
loved
say.
handing out like my card to somebody and then getting something back in return from them. It was the
Yeah,
best. I loved it so much
it's
because
so
then you got to
cute.
see like how creative people are and what they decided to make and bring with them to the convention and stuff like that. And it was great. The people had like stickers, there were badges, there were cards,
Yeah.
um and like pins. It was a lot. There was a lot of like cute little knickknacks that we got from people.
Yeah. No, it's always fun to see kind of how people like to also market themselves.
Yeah.
Um, because I mean, obviously, a huge part of TwitchCon as creators it's networking and growing to a certain degree. Um, but it's interesting to see how people like when they meet somebody for the first time, how they represent themselves.
Hmm.
Um, So I'm kind of excited to see how that is different or the same or
It is
kind of
really
what's
funny though,
next.
because it's like for us, we go to TwitchCon looking at it like as a or through like a business perspective or point of view, right? Like
Hmm.
we're paying attention to how people present themselves for the first time, and we're paying attention to like what kind of panels are happening and how we can use those panels as advantages to like figure out how to grow on Twitch and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But I find it so funny, like the whole first person experience or like perspective is like we're going to a convention that ultimately is a pretty nerdy convention, you know?
Yes,
Like
it
it's
is.
at the end of the day, it's like computers and video games, you know,
Yes.
for the most part. I know Twitch is like expanding to be more, you know, they've got IRL streams and health and fitness and stuff like that.
And DJ and yeah.
And DJ, yeah. But the majority of it is just like gaming nerds, right? So it's like
Yeah.
you meet somebody for the first time, and sometimes it's like you think you're gonna have like you have a certain perception of what they're gonna be like in your head, and then you meet them for the first time in person, and it's completely different than what you thought
Yes.
it was gonna be. And it's like, oh yes, we're all nerdy. That's right. At the end of
We're
the day, we're all
all
nerdy.
nerdy and neurodivergent and uncomfortable and stressed and anxious and we're doing our best.
Yeah.
It's so funny though, like when I met Jen Frosty for the first time,
Who? No
in
kidding.
person. Who? Who
Who?
the fuck?
Who the fuck is Jen Frosty?
When I met Jen Frosty and Snow White Dahlia and the Bunny Wife at the same, like I met them all at the same time in
Oh
person for the
yeah.
first time in a very high stress situation. We met at like we were going to Disneyland together. Like that's how our first day went. You know, they were all exactly basically as I had expected them to be. And then when I met you for the first time, you were exactly like nothing different. And
Good.
it's funny because there were so many other people that we met like along the way at TwitchCon that I was like, "Oh, you're okay."
Yeah, yeah, there were a couple people that I was just kind of like,
Not to say they were bad, it just
okay.
was not what I was expecting.
I'm not gonna be mean, but I'm gonna say my feelings because I have opinions about that. Last
So we're
year,
here.
I will fully say that there were a couple people that we met that I didn't really care for because they didn't pay any attention to me. Please
I
tell
would
me you
have to
felt the
agree.
same because
Yes, and I'm pretty sure it's the same person or same people rather.
there were a couple people
There
for
were a
sure.
couple.
And
Yes,
it's like, you know, I tried to have a conversation with you. You did not
reciprocate.
reciprocate or even pay attention to the fact that I was there trying to have a conversation with you.
Yep.
And that's rude. And so because of that, I'm just like, okay, like I don't think I'm the kind of person that it's like, okay, based off this one interaction with somebody, I'm going to think that you're a bad person, right? But it
It's not black and white like
definitely,
that.
yeah, but it definitely kind of like puts something there of my opinion about you as a person. But it's like, you know, I kind of like am more lenient with people about it because it is a high stress situation with the sense that there's so many people there and there's a lot to do. But also
To a
at the same
certain
time,
degree.
yeah, yeah, to a certain degree. It's just like at the same time when you're in a group with people or you're talking to somebody that's in a group, acknowledge everybody in that group. It's the
Yes.
least you can do.
I yes, and I am actually like having the flashback memory of one of those instances where it ended up just being like you and me like off kind of in the corner like trying to figure out like this like how not to be so awkward in that because neither one of us were getting it back, and that kind of experience,
Mm-hmm.
that was not a fun time.
No.
And it's like I mean I think everyone tries their best, but definitely that situation was not at all what I was expecting it to be.
Yeah.
Like it was very, very night and day to what I had in my head of that particular meeting. Um, which is of course unfortunate, and you know everybody has a stressful time sometimes at TwitchCon. Like it can be a lot, definitely. But when you can visibly see the effort going elsewhere, it's like, okay, I get it. Like I don't have enough followers for you to talk to, or I'm not as popular on XYZ app as you are, or
Yeah.
whatever. And it's like that feeling isn't good.
It
And unfortunately there is that.
unfortunately, like, it does also come to it feeling like that, where it's like
Yeah.
they're not, just because of like what the convention is and what it is for, right? Like, it's for Twitch. And so it does feel like that, where if somebody isn't talking to you or interacting with you when you're in a group with people, it feels like it's for that reason. You know, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
you're not big enough or you're not cool enough for me to like talk to you,
Yep.
which is like very weird.
That's why in my head when that was happening, I'm like, we're cool enough to talk to ourselves. Like, bye.
And I
Like
can't even
I
say that it doesn't bother me, because it obviously bothers me since I'm thinking about it to this
yeah.
day.
No. No. Same though. I just was like, you know what? Like, we're here to have a good time and they're not gonna burst my bubble.
Yeah.
Like, fine. Like, we're gonna go over here and that's
Just do
fine,
our
you know,
own
like
thing.
do our
Yeah.
own thing.
Yeah.
Which sometimes is the best case scenario because you end up experiencing other things that like maybe you wouldn't have been able to experience if you had just like followed along and stayed kind of being snubbed, you know? Like I would much rather like walk away from the situation and like make the best of a shitty feeling
Hmm.
than actively like continue to put myself in an uncomfortable, upsetting situation when your girl's paying a lot of money to be here.
Right. Because, well, it's like, why would you want to just follow along and just like trail behind when you have the opportunity to go and do like multiple other things that you want to do, instead
Yeah.
of just like going and doing something that you're pretending to do. And I feel
Yeah.
like in this situation we did go, and not that like we did it out of spite or anything, but we did go out and like do what we wanted to do, and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
We tried really hard though. I will say both of us tried for longer than I think either of us would have normally.
Yeah.
Like we really gave it our all and then we were like, "You know what? That was fun. We gotta go."
So we're just gonna
So,
go do our own thing. Cool.
and
Thanks.
I think that was also one of those moments that I look back on now, like a year later, and kind of seeing how our friendship has continued to grow from them. I think that was one of the first like unspoken like looks that we gave each other. That was like,
Yeah. No,
gotta go.
I think like part of the reason why we're so close to each other, like as we are now, is because TwitchCon gave us the opportunity to just like be side by side attached to each other's hips for like
Yeah,
majority of the time we were there.
exactly. No, I feel like it definitely put us in the like, okay, you're going through this experience and you're going through this experience together.
Yeah.
Which in a lot of ways, like now, like a year later, I'm so thankful for because I do feel like our friendship and how close we've become has, in a lot of ways, and it has been like almost fast tracked,
Hmm.
because of what we've been through within the last year, particularly just in the like 3-4 days at TwitchCon,
Yeah.
uh, which is wild to think about, but it's so true. But yeah, I think that moment where we decided to bid adieu to an uncomfortable situation, but it was a silent like look at each other like, okay, we're gonna go do something else.
Yeah, we're just gonna go like Over this
over
way.
there.
We'll
uh,
catch you later.
exactly. And there's no harm in doing that. You know,
No.
sometimes that just has to happen. But yeah, I think that was one of our first like look at each other. We got to figure out a plan, and we
Yeah.
just did it.
Yeah.
And I, even though it was an unfortunate situation, we still had a great rest of the day.
Yeah. Because it's like, at the end of the day, as long, because like, you know, it, for last year at TwitchCon, it was me, Estella, and Jen.
Yeah,
And it's like, at certain parts of the day, we did split up and go do our own things. And there
yeah,
was like absolutely nothing wrong with that. I'm glad that we did do that. Like Estella and I were with each other, and Jen went to go do like her own thing, and you know, like
yeah. And then same thing with Dahlia and Bun when they would join us, and then when they would leave as well.
yes, yeah, yeah, our good
Yeah,
friends Dahlia and Dahlia's partner Bun, they would join us and then go and do their own thing and then come back and join us another time. And it's like, you know, as long as both parties are okay with that and like
yeah,
you're not doing anything wrong, why
yeah,
not go and do it, you know? Like
yeah.
go have your fun. I keep bringing my water bottle. Go have
You're
your
good.
fun and live your life.
Yeah. No, it ended up being a lot of fun, and I'm excited to see kind of how this year goes. Also because this is another thing that Jen and I were talking about, actually on her stream today, is that I think we all have grown so much as individual people and individual creators. And I'm not meaning only growing in the like number sense.
Hmm.
I mean just kind of in our kind of maybe settling further into our niche or in what we're passionate about with what we want our streams to be, that like we're settled into us as how we want to be at TwitchCon, you know? Like we know what our streams are, we know what matters to us, and we've grown from last year to know how we want to apply that.
Yeah.
That what we're willing to do or what we're not willing to do or what we want to do is like I feel like it has a little bit more weight to it. That like if
Yeah.
somebody really wants to go do something and not everybody wants to do it, I think all of us are kind of
It's like go
solid to be
let the
like
person do it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like that all around. I mean, we basically did that last year as well,
Yeah.
but I think this year even more so. You know, like there's some big things happening that I want to like. I'm gonna force you to go for your for your stuff. Like, let's go. You want to go to your
Chop
VTuber
chop.
meetup?
Let's go.
Chop chop, and I'll come with you if you want me to. I'm not a
Yeah,
VTuber, but I'll be
like
like, follow
that's something
Razzie.
we've talked about. Because the day of your panel is the
Yeah,
same day that the LGBTQIA plus meetup is happening and the anime slash VTuber meetup is happening. And so I'm trying to attend one or the other, because like especially the anime slash VTuber like
yeah,
meetup, that would be great for me, right? So I'm trying to attend one or the other, but it's also at the same time it's like I need to manage that time so perfectly that I can be there for your panel.
yeah. I keep having like the slight visions of like it being like across the whole
Oh
damn
my
convention
god,
center,
imagine.
and it's just like
Your
you
panel's
trying to
gonna
run.
start, and I'm just gonna like sneak in, like, hey guys, don't mind me. Knock over bottles on the table.
Oh
Shit, fuck.
no.
I'm so sorry. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. Stumble over chairs. Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
No, I'm so sorry. Well, I'm hoping that they're not that far from each other so that it
Yeah,
can be like a calm
it's.
experience.
I'm sure it's gonna work out because there's also like a time gap between when the one event that I'm looking to go to ends and when yours starts. So
Okay.
that time gap would like allow me to make it to the panel.
Fingers crossed.
Yes.
Either way, I'm gonna do everything in my power to claim seats for you guys. You just walk in and
I
sit.
mean,
Like,
like with what we just said too, though, even if I weren't to go to like the VTuber meetup, I have every opportunity to meet the people that I want to meet
True.
the other 2 days kind of thing, right? So it's like everything does work out.
Right. I wish, and this is me adding Twitch right here, right now.
Hey
I
Twitch,
wish
listen.
the hey Tweet
Twitch. Hey
hey Twitch listen,
Twitch.
Mr. Twitch. I understand why you have the LGBTQIA meetup on that day, looking at the rest of the schedule, especially knowing with the new Pride Guild and a couple other amazing things that are happening on that day. But your girl has to go to the meetup and then talk on a panel?
Why the F would you do that?
Why would you do that? I'm so excited and so grateful for the opportunity. Thank you so much, Twitch. I'm also very nervous because I know myself and I know that trying to be present in a meetup to then have to then talk coherently about things that are important.
You know the scene of the mom in Mean Girls where they're like the girls are on the stage doing that Santa dance?
Yeah.
I'm so gonna be that mom, like in the
Oh.
audience recording, and then
You're
like
like,
in the aisle,
for the
just
listeners, we
doing
were just doing the Mean Girls mom dance in the
Santa baby.
That's so funny. That is
Uh,
also like the sweetest thing, and I love that, and I so appreciate the excitement and like support because I was actually talking to the icon, the legend, Mama Melon about this. You know, we all have so many different
she's not a
things that we
normal mom.
offer.
She's a cool mom.
She's a cool mom. Talking about like how we all offer many different things with our streams, and even though we have a lot of things that overlap, we all create very different content.
Mhm.
Um, and how I feel like in a lot of friend groups, when somebody else has a success, there is a lot of
Jealousy
jealousy
and yeah,
and spitefulness and like which we've experienced just within different individuals on Twitch,
yeah.
like not even
Oh,
in like a
with that
group.
being said, I am not gonna lie. I 1000% can absolutely be that person. Like,
Which is fair. I mean,
full
I've had those
transparency.
moments.
I always tell people because I'm just like, like, yes, 1000%. I'm always, always, always supportive of my friends, but also I fucking suck sometimes.
No, you don't. But I was just about to say something sweet and cute
Oh,
about you, and so let me finish, and then you can justify it. I was gonna say that since I was unable to announce my panel, I've felt nothing but love and support from both you and Jen Frosty and Snow White Dahlia, the Tubby gang, if you will.
the
I have
Tubby
felt
gang.
nothing but support, and that is not something that in previous friendships, either in content creation world or off, when I've actually had a win that I've been able to experience. So the fact that you guys have made an active choice to be like, we're gonna be at your panel, like front row, I'm gonna be the supportive mom twerking in the aisles. Like, I just want you to know that that means a lot to me. And
Oh,
also, you don't suck at all. But
I
I just like
love
I wanted to acknowledge that.
I love how it was like you were telling a story and I was like, I fucking suck. And you're like, let me finish because I
Let
was
me
about to say
finish.
something really good about you.
Well, it's true. Ugh, damn. Heart hands back.
Heart hands all around. No,
No, it's true though.
I very much like can get into my own head and sometimes like when I see somebody being successful or doing something great, I don't necessarily get jealous of them. It's more of a double GF am I doing? Like, what is wrong with me? Hello, I should be
Right.
like doing good too. I should be doing great kind of thing. But like, I don't let that affect me or I don't sit in that. You know, it's just kind of like I have the thought, I let it go. Because
Yeah.
why do I want to absorb that negativity or sit in that negativity when literally I can be happy with what I'm doing, seeing what my friends are doing and seeing what other people are doing and be happy and proud of their success and use that as motivation. And that's what I do. So it's like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, I never feel jealous about people, or I never think like,
No, which it would not be a human or authentic answer because I feel like
yeah,
everybody has
everybody
those
has
moments
those
of
feelings.
jealousy. That's
If you hear
human.
somebody say that like they're not jealous of a person and stuff like that, they're lying to you.
They're
Like,
lying 100%.
yeah, everybody has feelings of jealousy,
Of
um,
course.
or like pettiness or greed or whatever, right? Like it happens, whatever you want to call it. But like what you do with that, I feel like is what
Yeah.
makes you justifies you as a person, you know?
I 100% agree. I mean, especially in the content creation world where you're always seeing other people's wins because people aren't always going to post their downs. That's just not the world that we're
Yeah.
in. People do share a lot of their wins. It's very easy to fall into that kind of comparison, you know, mode where
Hmm.
you're looking at it, it's like, well, they do this same thing and I do the same thing. Why do they get to do it and I don't get to do it?
Yeah.
And it's like that's basically been something I've really struggled with since content creation. That's one of the reasons I took a break was that I caught myself doing that so much that
It's
it was
so hard to
detrimental to my
not
mental
compare
health.
yourself. You just
Yeah.
like always want to compare and never do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth it.
It's not worth it at all.
Um,
It's hard to not do it, but don't
yeah,
keep yourself stuck there.
exactly. Um, but yeah, I mean, I definitely fell into that trap a bit, and so it's like not to say that that doesn't happen to me in some like on a weekly basis. I see somebody else doing something good, and I'm like, oh, why?
Why
Um,
can't that be me?
right. But then it's also like putting in perspective of like what what is happening, what is good.
Yeah.
Um, and like as I said, like saying something nice and sweet about you and about our lovely friends, like I've not felt that at all. Where it's like, because it could have turned south.
Hmm.
And I did have a moment of panic before telling you guys, because I'm not used to being the person who has like a win. Usually I'm the one supporting other people's wins.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, so the one time I get something good, my entire friend group could implode on itself.
And that
And
hasn't happened.
that didn't happen.
Yeah.
So
You know what? Like since you've actually said that and brought it up, um like when you told me, I was like, "Oh, you know what? Why didn't I think of that? I should have done something." But I am using that as motivation for next year or the year after, who
yeah.
knows, right? To be on a panel myself
Yeah.
and to do something like that,
You'd kill it on
like
a panel.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Kill it.
I like use this is why it's important to have friends, not just your own friends, but like friends that you make through content creating in a content creation space, right?
Yeah.
Because you both can one create or what is the word that I'm looking for? Relate, not create.
Relate. Well, you can create as well,
You can
but
create as
relate.
well, yeah. We relate to, the struggles of content creating and how taxing it can be on your mental health and stuff like that. But then, like, not just like the friendship doesn't just have to be about content creation. You also get to
Yeah.
see the person behind the screen, behind the monitor, who they actually are, what kind of
Yes.
things they're going through in life, and what they're struggling with. And so that way, when it's like, like situation between you and me, for example, right? I know you, you know me, we know what we're going through in life, we know what we deal with, we talk about these things with each other, right? So it's
Yeah.
like when we have wins, or like, for example, with your wins that you've been having lately, right? I'm not gonna like sit there and be like, oh, like, why can't that be me? Why don't I get to have these good things? When it's like, my time will come. This isn't about me. It's
It's
about
coming.
you. And because I know you and how lows your lows have been, to have this win, it's like I'm not just celebrating you or celebrating the wins because that's like what you're supposed to do, quote unquote. It's because like it's genuinely meant to be celebrated, and it should be like celebrated in a grand, exciting way. And, like that's
I'm
just what
so
we
emotional
do.
for this. That means a lot. That means a lot to me. Thank you.
Yeah, it's very important to have like, obviously friends in your day-to-day life, but online friends are also
Yeah,
just as fucking amazing. And especially like
absolutely.
if you're a content creator, it can be very hard to make friends as a content creator, right?
Yes.
Um Bad situations can happen. You never know if things are genuine with people. You
Yeah.
never know like what could happen down the line or like down the road in the future, but a win is a win. When you win, you know you've won.
For sure. And I mean, that is something that I'm so, so thankful for is like, I think both of us have had many online friendships where things have taken a sharp left when you least expect it.
Yeah.
That I think also for us going forward in our friendship, we're very upfront with each other and we're very honest with like what our goals are both in the content creation world and part of how we met in that, but also just in our day-to-day, like human offline side of things. We're very
Yeah.
upfront with like, oh, this I'm feeling this way or I'm stressed about this. Like we're very honest with each other. And I
Honest and
think
just
that's
like
really
respecting of
fulfilling.
each other for both like perspectives of
Yeah,
day-to-day life and content creation.
absolutely. And I mean, I have tremendous respect for both you as a person and the content that you create. I think you're a wonderful content creator and you're a wonderful human.
Thanks.
And they work well together, like they do a lot of good. And I feel like for both of us, like as we move through whatever's next in our whether it's TwitchCon or any other opportunities that come our way, it's really special and refreshing to feel like there is somebody that is in your corner who is going to be cheering you on,
Hmm.
and also the person who's going to catch you when you're having a bad day
Yeah.
or when something doesn't go your way, either in content creation space or
Even
offline
just like real
human
life. Yeah.
real life. And that's rare also online, but it's worth trying. Like listeners, if you're looking for online friendships, be safe. Be
Hmm.
safe.
Yes. Be
Vet the
safe.
people that you're talking to, but it can happen. Some of my closest, most honest and real friendships I've ever had have been through the internet.
Yeah.
Um, and that's something I have a lot of gratitude for because the world is crazy.
The world is crazy. With that being said, too, though, I feel like that just like opened another door of like, you know what? With that being said,
But
I do
yeah,
need to say something. Like,
yeah,
for those of you listening, and it's like, oh, it's hard for me to make friends online and blah, blah, blah. I have seen a lot of like people always share drama of their own personal lives sometimes, whether you ask for it or not. So I always
yeah,
see it. And sometimes at the end of the day, do you have to look within yourself to figure out
yes,
like it's not because of other people. Sometimes you have to take a step back and be like, okay, is it maybe because of me? And,
yeah,
like it's not just a sense of respecting other people. You do also need to respect yourself and like
yes,
figure yourself out some more. Figure out what kind of people you want in your lives and don't just jump to every opportunity and to every person that you see and expect to be friends with them and expect for things to work out, because if you just go around and doing it with everybody, that's not going to work out very well. It's not how things should be. It's not how things are going to go. So you need to like
Mm-mm.
take the time to figure yourself out, figure out who you are, what you want in your life, and who you want to be surrounded by, and then kind of go from there. So it's
Yeah.
like be safe, but also know yourself a bit more and
Yes.
understand your boundaries and other people's boundaries, and then kind of go from there.
Definitely. Especially in the Twitch sphere. Like, I mean, I deal with this, and I know you do too, of like new people who are just joining Twitch or just joining the online space in any way.
Hmm.
Um, and how like they come in and like self promo or trauma dump or whatever. And how it can be very hard, obviously, to to kind of shift the conversation topic. And what I say to those people always is like, you know, I hope things get better for you. I hope you take some time to reflect on your intentions, essentially, where it's like, no, learn yourself, learn your boundaries, and once you're able to be solid in who you are as a person, that's when you can then figure out how you can be a good friend to others,
Yeah,
and how you can support others and be involved in a community. 'Cause if you're just a mess, like we'll do our best to be nice, but also don't expect when you're acting up and acting crazy
that we're
for
just
things
gonna
to
like
just be
be okay with it.
exactly,
Yeah. And it's
exactly.
like on the topic of like self promoting and trauma dumping and stuff like that, it's like, yes, there are communities out there that are okay with that, but you have to take it upon yourself to also just kind of like look at person's rules,
The bare
and like check their
minimum.
boundaries and stuff like that before going into somebody's stream and doing it. Like, I for me and my community, like my own Twitch streams and stuff like that, I am okay with people kind of talking about a little bit more of like heavier subjects. I do like to
Yeah.
sometimes get into like real life conversations and just talk about life and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Uh, but I never want anybody to trauma dump, because if and like trauma dumping in the sense of like you're giving specific details
Things that could
of,
also be very triggering.
yeah, because that's what it is for people. It's like if you give specific details and you talk about the specifics of a situation, it could be triggering to people. And like I personally have had somebody not necessarily trauma dump, but has had, like, I've talked about it before. I don't know if I've ever talked about it on this podcast, but I have had somebody send me a picture of themselves doing self-harm.
Yeah,
And
you've I don't think you talked about it on podcast, but you have told me about it. Yeah.
yeah, and to me that's like on the same level, maybe like just a little bit higher of like trauma dumping, but like
Definitely.
it's triggering. So it's like, to be in that situation where it's like, oh, somebody did something that has actually like actually triggered me.
Yeah.
I don't want other people to be put into that situation. So it's
Yeah.
like, you gotta watch
It's the
where and
balance,
when
and
you
it's
do
the balance
things.
also of the whole parasocial relationship thing.
Yeah.
It can get the lines can get very blurred very quickly. And I always give this kind of general advice to new people on Twitch, whether they're new streamers, because I've had a few new streamers come and ask me for like advice or whatever, and I'm always like, protect yourself and protect your peace, because when it comes to that, people trying to break your boundaries just to get a reaction out of you,
Hmm.
you know, then in some ways it can be harmless. But when somebody is really struggling, it is hard to be able to navigate. And it's like, you don't want, if you're feeling upset about it, you don't want the rest of your community to be upset about it. And you also need to protect yourself.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Um,
Yeah.
and it's like the bare minimum that anybody can do, as you said, like read the rules. If somebody has a boundaries panel, like check that out. Most people have the rules at the top of their chat and in their panels. Like sometimes they update them on a casual Tuesday. You could be a loyal viewer
Yeah.
for years, and then they update it on a random day. Just every once in a while, scan the rules so that
Yeah.
nobody has to remind you.
I always talk about how like uh my boundaries can change. Like
Yeah.
as I grow as a person, so do my boundaries. And as I learn more about myself, I learn about more about what my boundaries are. And, it could be a situation where it's like I had a boundary and then I get rid of it because it doesn't just like bother me anymore.
Yeah.
Or it's a situation where it's like something that didn't bother me actually does bother me. So it's like, it
Yeah.
is important to look at people's boundaries and see what they put up there, it's
Yeah.
courtesy.
Courtesy, and know that the streamer or the other person is very much a person.
Yeah.
And that's why when I say the parasocial relationship as well, it's like we give you as much as we can give you, like to you as the viewer, or the listener. We do our very best. Um, but at the end of the day, unless unless you're one of our friends listening, right? You don't really know us.
Hmm.
And we know, we share what we want you to know, and what we don't want you to know. Maybe there are reasons to protect ourselves from that we're not going to say, oh, by you saying XYZ, that upsets me because of this. We're just going to say it upsets me and we're not comfortable with it, and that's something that you should listen to.
Yeah.
um we've talked about that with a few particular instances where it's happened either in my chat or your chat by either the same person or same kind of group of people. And I think both of us do our best to handle it as respectfully as possible.
Yeah.
But we've also had to make some tough decisions of laying down the law.
Laying down the law. Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
We're laying down that law. Yeehaw.
Yeehaw. We gotta protect ourselves. Life's
Absolutely, yes.
rough.
Life is rough, and like at the end of the day, you got to do whatever you can to protect yourself. And that's what we're doing.
Yeah. I
It's
don't see
not a
anything
personal
wrong with
thing.
that.
It's not like an attack on anybody. It's just we are protecting ourselves and our peace.
Yes. And our community's piece as well.
Yeah.
Because I think I talked about this actually on stream today. Um, just how, as the streamer, there is a sense of responsibility to protect your community,
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
and how a lot of streamers don't actually take that into account because, oh, it's the viewers are acting up. It's not the people in my community that I am kind of rallying are acting up. You
Right.
have to. There's a sense of accountability that does have to step in, and I've always seen that with you, and I do my best to have that of like, no, like these are the rules and this is why, um can be why they need to be enforced rather.
Hmm.
um and I think you do a very good job at that. Is again, people be wildin'.
People be wild, and yeah, it's like, yeah, I've always had an issue with the 18 plus. For those of you that are on Twitch, if you've noticed, which I'm sure a lot of people have, most streamers will have their stream title 18 plus.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I've always put 18 plus, not just because like, I make lewd comments here and there. I'm not very wholesome on my channel. I am not family friendly in the slightest, so it's like my Twitch channel is very much for a mature audience.
Yeah.
But it's not there for people to be like openly lewd all the time or sexual and stuff like that.
Right.
It's because like I do not want minors or young people coming in an environment where they should not be in, you know
Yes.
um and it's not just to like protect me. Like there's only so much that I can do to keep people out. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
every now and then somebody will come in and it's like, oh wait, you're getting banned, like bye.
Yeah.
But it's like, uh I do it to protect me, to protect my community, because it's like a very adult based environment.
Yes,
And also in a sense to kind of protect those minors, because like
definitely.
I feel like I need to take it upon myself to make sure that I do not have an adult interacting with a minor and vice
Yes,
versa. Because like
I agree.
fuck no.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. In
No,
no situation.
I 100% agree with you. I mean, I feel like my content is in a lot of ways I draw in a very young crowd because of the games I play.
Hmm.
But as soon as they hang out for like a good 10 minutes, like they realize, oh, this is not for children. um, and even though I don't feel like I make an outward like an outwardly inappropriate stance,
Hmm.
I just make it very clear, like because I am an adult, this is for adults. And I
Yeah.
think that that has to be like a very clear line. Also, I don't want like their parent coming in and being like, you know, I heard you, say, a curse word and now this is a whole problem. Like I don't need that.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
not my responsibility.
No.
Um, but I also absolutely feel the responsibility of making sure that there is a separation of adult and minor.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, there are a few viewers that I know are probably on the younger side of things, but so far things have been okay. I don't know specific ages, and I make that clear. Like, do not tell me how old you are, what year in school you are. Like, even if you are over 18, don't tell me.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's
Like,
also actually no, I was gonna say it's also against like the terms of service, but found out not too long ago that it actually is not. It was just a rule people made up for their own channels.
really?
Yeah.
I've been
I
offered to
actually
take it
had no
against
idea.
TOS to
Yeah,
tell me how old
same.
you are.
Same. I've been saying that to people all the time. I'm like, it's against TOS to talk about your age. You can't do that here. But it's just like their own personal rule that people have created for channels, and so like I stick to
I
it.
mean,
It's
I
my own
respect it.
personal rule, so
Yeah,
like
it's
don't.
terms of service for our channels.
Yeah, in terms of service for our channel, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, because it's an additional layer of protection, and I do believe there is a responsibility on us, even though we don't have end of the day control over everything.
Yeah.
If there is something we can do to protect the people in chat, in either direction of that, um, I do think it is an important step to take. So if you're a listener, like please check the rules. It's so simple. So simple.
Yeah, it's like the bare minimum that we could ask for.
Literally.
Literally the
Literally.
bare minimum. Yeah. Just check people's rules and their boundaries, and be respectful. It's really not that hard to be friendly and make friends with people online. All you really have to do is just respect them and respect their boundaries,
Yeah.
and figure out your own boundaries too, and respect yourself a little bit. So,
Yes. And lead with kindness. I mean, it's that simple. Like
or
if
kill
you're
with
going
kindness. No,
in,
I'm kidding. Lead with
or kill
kindness.
with kindness if you're feeling a bit sassy.
If you're
But
Selena Gomez.
if you're Selena, gotta keep an eye out for her anyway. So, but you definitely lead with kindness, and you never know who will end up in your orbit.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah. 'Cause I mean,
And
hey,
on
we led
that
with
note,
kindness, and here we are.
we did a great job. Look at us
We did. Yes, absolutely.
having almost
Um,
1 year of
I
friendship.
know. I'm so excited.
So cute.
But
On that note,
yeah, we'll end today's episode here. I literally just looked at the time and I was like, oh, wait, okay, wow, damn, it does not feel like it's been that long.
I don't know how long it's been.
An hour and. Can I math? An hour and
My math
25
isn't that.
minutes.
Oh my gosh, perfect.
Woohoo, we did great.
We great. Thank you guys so much for listening to us blabber about all the things TwitchCon, all the things about how much we love each other because we got Ushigoshy there for a sec.
Yeah.
Um,
We're in our feels. What can we say?
yes. Thank you guys so much for listening to episode 4. It's so exciting. I've truly loved doing this, and I can't wait to see again like what keeps happening. It's very exciting.
Hmm.
As always, if you guys want to send us any questions or specific topics to talk about, we're using as inspo. Feel free to use our hashtag on Twitter, hashtag Online OffStream Pod,
Yes.
and tag our account. And obviously,
Yeah.
follow our individual socials. Where can they find you?
Where can people find me? That's a great question. I was not ready for this question. I
Surprise!
can be found on Twitch at Razzie exactly how it's spelled here on the podcast. On Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok, and YouTube, all with the same handle. And where can people find you, Stella?
They can find me on Twitch at Estella M. Stone, as well as Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I'm trying to get back on the whole YouTube thing. Give me a second. I'm anxious.
You're like, let me breathe,
Let me breathe a
please.
minute.
And y'all want to know the craziest part?
Hmm.
You can catch us both here on this podcast.
You can catch us both here Wednesdays. Very exciting with a new episode next week as well.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and talk to you next week.
Talk to you later, TTYL. Thanks for listening to our
TYL,
episode.
XOX.
XOXO Gossip Girls. Bye, everybody.
Bye.